Hey guys, we are here at GDC and we're going to take a look at Legacy Quest from Social Spiel and being published by Nexon. And what is Legacy Quest all about?
Legacy Quest is an action RPG which is heavily influenced by the roguelike genre and permadeath games.
Okay.
And yeah, so I guess I start right to explain the game and then show it a little bit. So yeah, you have basically two parts of the game. One is your village, which is your hub, your base of operations.
Okay.
You have different buildings. Each building has a functionality. It's mostly about crafting and like the progression games, where you just as you become better, your buildings, you can upgrade them, and then you'll be able to craft better weapons, better items. You will have the ability to have more heroes.
Okay.
And so yeah, the heroes, very important part of the game. Usually in most action RPGs you play one hero. It's not the case in Legacy Quest. There you have multiple ones. So here I've prepared two of them to show off the game. And so heroes are not permanent in the game. So they can die. That's not such a big deal actually, because whenever you make progress, it affects all your heroes and the whole bloodline of your heroes.
Okay.
So
their lives are frivolous, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So yeah, and let's go to the more interesting
art style
part.
is really cool. It's like pixel but 3D.
Thanks.
I like it.
Yeah, we had multiple inspirations. One of which was it was like the basically where we came from when we were discussing figuring out the visual style was imagining Conan the Barbarian got transformed into a kid's toy, but he doesn't know about it. So that was
I like that.
That was it's like probably the quickest way. Some people think it reminds them of Lego, which we are totally cool with.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we have the world map.
Okay.
That's the starting area, and as we progress in the game, and especially then past worldwide launch, we'll add more and more dungeons, also different types of dungeons. But also that's like the starting area. And yeah, I'm gonna show off the Halls of Demise, which is one of the early dungeons in the game. So yeah, to the right you can see that there's a high score list. So once you start mastering the game or the basics of the game, it becomes all about competitive play, high scores. There will be tons of different events or event type of dungeons where you just have like a day or two to compete for a high score, and then you get like special loot or like super rare items.
That's cool.
So I'm gonna jump into the game. So yeah, so we have virtual analog controls, and then to the right you have your action bar. So there are like three active skills. One is defined by the weapon you equip. So I have an axe here, so it's like a one-handed axe, and it's like attack speed is somewhat in the middle between like fast attack speed weapons and slow ones. And then we have abilities like, for example, Dragon Breath. Whoa. And he also has a Blizzard. So as you can see, I mean, he maybe looks a bit more like a warrior type of character. He wears a funny hat. He also so we give the players a lot of room to experiment with skills and what type of gear to use. There are no fixed classes in the game, so it's experimentation is really a big part of it. And of course, some skills matched with certain gear make more sense than others. But if you want, you can play a warrior mage or like a I don't know, a ranged magic class which uses like a bow or something. So you can really, there's a lot of freedom to that.
Cool.
So yeah, but I'm gonna show actually some monster killing. So yeah, that's very early in the game. So it's just a few guys. And so yeah, it's all about collecting loot. So that's everything fans of action RPGs expect. But beyond that, where it gets a bit more interesting is what happens when you die. And so basically, so what I mentioned already previously that we're big fans of permadeath games. And what we wanted to do is make permadeath more accessible. I guess that's what you could call it, because we really like the decisions that are connected to those type of games. So that's every decision kind of matters more in the game. And so in the upper left corner, you can see that's a resource called souls, which you collect only by killing enemies.
Okay.
So you won't be able to buy those. Ooh, there's a big dude that are gonna kill this guy.
Oh, that is a big dude.
Yeah. And when I die, these souls, I can use them to resurrect immediately and continue playing.
Okay.
But that's also the resource that I need to make all my heroes more powerful over time. So it's a bit like experience.
So you have to decide if you want to keep going or you want to
Exactly.
try again and just use it for powering up your other guys.
Exactly. So
Okay.
that's like this interesting choice. When you accept death, then the hero's gone. You get a new one automatically. That's you don't need to wait or anything. So you can go back to the village and pick another hero and continue playing. But all the gear the hero had equipped, it goes into the loot pool of the dungeon, and that's very interesting because it means it can be the loot you're losing. It can actually. Like the equipment you're losing, your weapons and the armor of the hero.
Yeah.
It can be found by other players.
Oh, by other players.
Yeah. So that's another thing which we think is really cool and unique feature. Is that as players craft and find items and also lose them again, they're being handed or like they are being moved from player to player. And so they tell a little bit of a story because if you craft an item, your username is imprinted on the item.
Oh, really?
And also if you find an item, your name also gets added to that. So, it's a bit like...
You can sort of track where the items end up and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
So our inspiration for that was classic fantasy literature. Like the Sword Excalibur, for example. It has that sword has a history and there are legends around that. So that's something which we wanted to recreate in Legacy Quest as well. And also one thing which adds a little bit of depth to the game is how a high score system works. So you'll notice when I kill an enemy, there's a multiplier up there. It's at 11, 12 right now. And so there's some strategies where you can really boost your high score and take advantage of that. So if you kill off the easier enemies early, and then when your kill streak is really high, then you kill a boss or a mini boss, you get a lot more points.
Neat. And so, do you have to be connected when you play?
Yeah.
And so what is the online components like? Are there ever other people running around in your dungeon in real time? Or?
No, so that when the game launches, all dungeons will be single player.
Okay.
And we'll have a couple of asynchronous features. For example, you can also level up your heroes, and as you level up your heroes, you unlock traits, which kind of suggest like how you should specialize your hero, so they become more powerful with a specific weapon type, or they can use a specific type of armor a lot better. And in order to train, you need to do that with other players. So you train with other players' heroes, and then there will also be a guild feature, which allows you to compete in guild dungeon events where like your whole guild needs to try to reach a very high score, and then it's like a guild versus guild. We're also looking into, but that's like further down the road, trading, and if the game's doing well, we would really like also to add some synchronous multiplayer.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I can show you like another character here. Let's see what skills
Their little faces crack me up.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna do like a more of a melee type build, so also show that off.
How many of those like special moves are there?
We'll have around 30 for soft launch, probably more. We hope more for worldwide launch. And I'm gonna continue to add more and more as the game evolves.
Cool.
So yeah. So and I can show you another dungeon. So all the dungeons they have a very distinct and unique look and feel. So yeah, we want like whenever the player unlocks a new dungeon, we want him to really be rewarded in a visual way. That's a huge mace this dude has. So yeah, and I think that looks very overpowered to me.
Yeah.
You've crafted well.
Yeah. There's some spiders. So that's like a swamp-themed dungeon. Yeah, whirlwind.
Oh, that's
there
right.
we go. And so yeah, that looks very, very different. Later in the game, we also introduce traps. And something which we also think is going to make the game stand out is that we can have quite large amounts of monsters. So later on in the game, you can expect like 30 monsters in one scene.
Wow.
That's gonna So as you can see, the weapon's attack speed is very slow. So it's like every weapon type plays really very different, and so yeah, that gives players just a lot of things to explore. And ooh, that's a big spider.
Pretty much
Whoa.
let them pick what kind of play style they want, how they're gonna get avoid getting eaten by that giant spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long does it take to get through like one dungeon, would you say? Oh, you just beat it.
Well, that's just one
That's just
floor.
one floor.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
one floor,
So each
okay.
dungeon is divided into floors.
Okay.
The last floor will be the boss floor, where you encounter a big nasty boss. And so the floors are pretty short, starting out between like 1.5 and 2 minutes. So but to beat the whole dungeon, it takes around, I would say, like 45,
Oh, okay.
40 minutes to maybe 1 hour,
about
depending
an hour.
depending on how strong your gear is, and
Yeah.
if you want to clear everything. And then we also have, when you beat a dungeon, you open up the next difficulty setting, which doesn't mean, of course, then better loot starts to drop, but it not only gets more difficult, also new enemy types are introduced,
Oh, cool.
and you might see different traps.
Yeah.
And we also do some randomization in the game, so what type of monsters you see is somewhat randomized, following certain rules. So, because I mean, you're gonna play dungeons multiple times,
Yeah.
and we're really trying hard to make the grind feel not too repetitive.
Yeah. Okay.
So what types of traps you will see, and also like there are variations of dungeons, so it's also going to look and feel a little bit different every time you play.
Cool.
All right.
And so, what was you wanted? You had a different device that you wanted to show some
Yeah,
stuff
I can
on.
show you.
Okay.
So I can just plug it up.
Yeah, it's gonna go dark for the people watching this for just a minute, but we will be back.
Let's see how the volume is here. Turn it down a little bit.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's wait till it comes back on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah.
Should be back.
Yeah, so that's again the crypt dungeon, but it's I think it's like the 5th or 6th floor of the dungeon,
Okay.
and it's still oh yeah there's really a
Whoa.
couple of different enemy types.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the dungeons, you can see, they also get a little bit more complex. So it's not really about finding your way. There's a little bit to explore. There will be some hidden treasure chests and stuff like that. But it's all about the action.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this also had like quite a nasty.
Great build.
Yeah, there should be some. Yeah, I'm gonna find like a bigger group of enemies.
Are you on one of the trap levels?
I'm not sure if there's a trap in there. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's like another nasty guy. So yeah, you can see enemies. They already the amount of enemies already get a little bit more. We also have elite enemies, which are at this stage, which is it's still pre-beta. So we're in alpha right now. So if you see a very big monster, which is just scaled in size, that's the current way for us to the debug execution station for an elite enemy. Wait, so that's going crazy already. Yeah, there's a big, like this big skeleton. He's an elite. So he actually buffs enemies nearby, and there are different types of buffs. Like some of them even make other enemies invulnerable. So you need to potion. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So you need to. You really should kill those first, which I'm for whatever reason not doing right now.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So that's, from there on it just gets crazy. Oh yeah, there's there's a trap. So we get swinging axes.
So do those only happen like when you get near them? They drop like that, or are they always swing?
No, they always swing.
Oh, okay. You just weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can design something, he can still sneak up on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so you see that this floor is already much bigger than the first one.
Yeah.
And kill those. Hopefully.
Don't die, oh, there you go. I love how they explode everywhere.
Just showers of bricks everywhere.
Yeah.
Brick heaps.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's
Very cool.
Legacy Quest.
Okay, so Legacy Quest, and you're pre-beta right now, so when do you think final version will... Whoa, don't pull it out yet. When do you think final version will be hidden?
So we're going to be doing our soft launch in May.
May?
So
Okay.
we're going to be opening that one up, probably Canada, Australia early
Yeah.
on. We're
Yeah.
actually signing players up for early access to that right now.
Oh, okay.
So players on iOS or Android that sign up for the mailing list, we're
Yeah.
going to, take the first couple hundred of them
Okay.
and allow them early access in May.
Oh, cool.
Then our plan is to have a worldwide launch cross-platform
Yeah.
in beginning of August.
Beginning of August.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thanks so much for showing off Legacy Quest, and we'll look for it later this year.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thanks.